Hello, I'm Blue, and a while ago I made this video where I drew in IBIS Paint for the first time, and people asked me how I rendered in it, and I actually really like rendering in IBIS. I render in it whenever I draw on my iPad, so today I'd like to show you how I do it. My rendering is really lazy and simple since I like the messy look, so you don't have to worry too much, it's not going to be too hard. Now for the brushes that I used, the first one is the marker brush, which is a default brush in IBIS. I really like how it's able to lay out colors and clean up colors. There's no blending, which is really nice. I use it for like textures and adding like big blocks of colors where I need it. There's nothing I change about this brush except the size, so I'll either make it really big or really small. I use the marker for cleaning up colors and adding colors, so kind of what I'm showing here. See, I use it to like clean up the edges, or I use it to like if there's a piece that's kind of messy, I clean it up really quickly since the brush is kind of big and chunky and it's just easy. Final brush that I use is the soft falcon pen. I really like how this one adds small details. It's a really crisp, like hard brush, and it has like a little bit of texture, so it's really nice to go in and like add shapes if you need it. So if I need to clean up something that's super messy, this brush is really nice to go in and do that with. Also love adding scribbles and little textures with this one. It's just very good. The main painting brush I used is this one right here. It's by this user. I cannot say their name because it's Japanese. I really like this brush, but I do tweak it a bit since I don't like how much blending it has. Once you download it, these will be the settings, and this is the settings I change it to. Basically, I just take away half of the blending, otherwise the brush is like really nice for going in and cleaning up shapes and stuff since there's not a lot of blending, and it's also really soft, so it gives it like this really soft, clean look. So for this brush, what I use a lot is the opacity, so I'll turn down the opacity if I want to add a lighter color or if I want to like blend. And then I use the size as well, so I make the brush really small if it's like really small details, and I make it really big if it's more bigger details. And then the final like tool that I use like frequently is the color picker. I think what I really love about IBIS is like color picker is I can hold the pen down and that will pick up a color that I like, and that makes the painting process so much easier. So that's like another thing that I use a lot. If you can figure out how to access this as quick as possible, this would make the rendering process a lot easier. Since the whole painting and rendering method is picking up colors and then placing them down and then doing that over and over again. Before I get started, I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I'm sure most of you are already familiar with them. Skillshare has been a long-time supporter of my channel. If you enjoy affordable, accessible learning in just about any field, from photography to content creation to art to business, Skillshare has you covered. There are thousands of classes with thousands of different teachers on there. And personally, I think that's the thing that I love the most about them, is that they have so many different teachers for so many different topics, because sometimes you need a various perspective to really grasp a concept. So with thousands of courses available for you, you can always find the right teaching style. I even have my own class in Skillshare about getting started with art as a beginner, and I'm planning to make a new one this year about staying motivated and overcoming self-doubt as an artist. The cool part is, if my approach doesn't quite click with you, there are plenty of other teachers covering similar topics. So like Kickstart Your Creativity with Procreate, 20 fun drawings for beginners and beyond, offers its own unique method for staying inspired. This year, take care of your creative side by feeding it with knowledge and practice, especially since it's so easy to lose that passion and focus over time. So whether you're exploring a new hobby or aiming to turn your skills into a career, Skillshare has you covered. Skillshare is also offering 1 month free to the first 500 viewers to use the link in my description. Or you can scan this cool QR code on the screen if you're interested. Thank you again to Skillshare, and now onto the video. All the brushes I use and the method that I'm going to show you is also good for fingers, so if you're a finger artist, again, mad respect, you can follow this as well. But if you are interested in looking at like a deep dive of my painting methods and why I do it the way I do, I have a video right here that like explains everything in detail. So if there's something that you want to know why I do in this video, you can just go there. I do not like drawing in IBIS because I don't think the stabilization of the brushes is that good, so I did this drawing in Procreate. If you're going for more stylized like me, I would suggest the sketch or line art to be really messy and light and just kind of sketchy like mine is. So first thing I'm doing is I'm laying out the colors. I'm using the marker. I have the picture kind of zoomed out really small, and I'm just like layering out colors that I think would look nice. I'm not too worried about having this be perfect because I am going to go in and clean it. So basically I'm layering, color picking, layering, color picking, and I'm also using the like layers. So I would make a new layer, add some colors, see if I like it. If I don't, then just delete the layer. Basically this is just trial and error, and try as many things as you like. I have to go in with like gradient maps and like hue, saturation changes. It's basically just playing around until it looks good. At the end, I really liked this more purple instead of the blue, and I also really liked the darker background for the Miku. So now that I'm happy with that, I will go in and change the line art layer to a multiply layer, and then color change that until I like the way it looks. For this one, I'm going for more dark purple or dark blue, since that's like the main theme. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the first rough render. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the marker brush and I'm just kind of cleaning up like a lot of these like really messy areas. The brush is really large, so it's basically just cleaning up sections, so when I go in and render it, it will be easier. What I'm paying attention to when I'm rendering is I'm trying to make the most interesting looking shapes and the colors to look really nice together. So now I'm going to go in with the Japanese brush, this one, and I'm going to turn down the opacity, and I'm basically just going to start rendering in small little lines, and I'm color picking the colors on the canvas already, because if I go in and add a different hue or saturation into this, it's going to look a bit weird since the colors are already made to look good together. So whatever colors are on this canvas is what I'm color picking. So for example, here's where I used the opacity. The eyes was too dark for me, so what I did is I turned down the brush's opacity, and then I just went over it with like the blue color of the original base, and that lightened it up. And I did that throughout the hair. I did that all over the place. So now I'm switching between the marker and the Japanese brush, and I'm basically just playing around until I find like the stuff that I like. My goal is to make the colors kind of all blend together without it seeming muddy. So I am trying not to have any kind of blending, like at all. I am mostly just trying to use like the opacity where you like have one color on top of another, and that kind of makes like a blended color in the middle. I'm trying to use those colors to make sure that the colors all blend together. So for example, this is like her skin color is like a pink color, but I've added that pink color to her hair. I've added that pink color to her clothes. It just kind of like ties all the colors all together really nicely. Her eye colors are also the same color as her hair, so it just kind of like blends it all together. There's a lot of trial and error, so I'm kind of going in and testing things to see if I like it, and if I don't, I'll redo it. I think the most important thing is to not stress about being perfect or very clean. You can always go in and change it later, as you might as well try out as many options as you like. Since this is a lazy painting style, you're not spending hours on rendering, so you have the freedom to make mistakes and things like that you don't like. And you can always just change it later, so you might as well give it a shot now, see what you think about it, and if you don't like it, go back. And then throughout the piece, I will use the Falcon pen brush to add like little details, little strokes here and there. It's not something that I use like covertly for like painting itself. It's more just something I use to add little textures or little fun patterns here and there. Another thing that I really like to do in IBIS is to use layers. So I would make a new layer, I would put a color down and then turn down the opacity and then see if I like that or not. And this is just basically just to go in and like add some fun colors here and there to see if it's like all good or not. Plus, if you don't like it, you can just get rid of it. Like, you don't have to stress about rendering. I feel like rendering is the most fun part of the art. It's literally just do whatever the hell feels good and it will end up the way you like it. This whole piece took me about an hour to paint and like 40 minutes to draw, so like an hour and a half, hour 40. Not too long. It does look half rendered, but again, I really like this look. So for final details, I'll load it over to Procreate to use the gradient maps there and the little editing things, and then that's basically it. I really love IBIS. I think like you can make really beautiful art in this program, and the fact that it's free is like fantastic. Yeah, this is a really good program. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I don't have any brushes to link because it's a QR code, but yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!